All of us who want to talk about the world in some ways, right? Or to say we want to make sense of the world around us, we can't escape the fact that we can't escape the limitations of identity at one level. This, unless you have lived outside of your own comfort zone, unless you have had to really see that there's nothing normal about your identity, in a way that your identity is as constructed as somebody else's. And I think that doesn't happen to you unless you start being in an environment where you mean nothing. But I was trying to find what I now call conversational intimacy. And it's the intimacy you find in Bombay, right? You get into a cab and you start talking to the cab driver and you're instantly intimate up to a point, right? But there is nothing that is said and given that is unfair. I mean, it's a little bit unfair. All exchange is a little bit unfair, I feel. But charm, collegiality, being interesting, being curious, learning to listen are all part of that exchange. The more curious you are, the more interesting your conversation with the cab driver. Women like romance a lot, and that we always know. What we notice in all the women that we speak to from every background, their articulation in this domain is huge. It's sophisticated, it's poetic. They are able to easily express the exact thread of their desire, right? Whether it's sexual, whether it's emotional, whether it's a cultural issue they are dealing with. It's quite breathtaking. But people women really want to share. And I think they want to share because they feel it's a wisdom that they have gathered about life, that they have understood something about life, gender, the world, what you can have, what you can't have. It's not just that they want to share their sexual experience, which they do, but it is their experience of being an individual. So when there's Urdu poetry is a technology of a sort because it amalgamates so many contemporary as well as traditional experiences. Art amalgamates our past selves, our present selves, and projects forward to what we are going to be. That's why art is a very important synthesizing force in society. So the moment that you start blocking art, either through politics or through commerce, you prevent the flow of life and for us to have resolution of life, which is what you're asking, right? Like, how do I synthesize my experiences and arrive at an understanding of my own self via cinema, reading, poetry, whatever. We don't actually consume art through content. I believe we consume art through form. And form actually is sensory, so it touches us. So therefore, our relationship with art, our relationship with form, and our relationship with cinema is in fact a sexual relationship. It is a libidinal relationship that we have, right? And art enters our bodies through its sensory practices and sensory technologies. So we have to start thinking about art in those ways and create spaces for many more kinds of art, for unblocking what you are saying very rightly is blocked in all of us.